Brain of Britain, the nationwide general knowledge contest, chaired by Russell Davis.
Thank you. Hello. As the festive season hurtles towards us, it's time to welcome another 4 Brain of Britain semi-finalists to the stage here at the Radio Theatre in London. Today we're joined by 2 winners of our 2024 heats and 2 of the top-scoring runners-up, because sadly David Edwards has had to pull out of the competition because of illness. But it would be a rash person indeed who tried to prejudge which of these excellent quizzes might come out on top today. Let's meet them again.
Hello, I'm Tim Hall. I'm a researcher from Kidlington in Oxfordshire.
Hello, I'm Alan Eeles. I'm a retired nurse practitioner from Kidderminster in Worcestershire.
Hello, I'm Caroline Latham, a retired teacher from Romford in East London.
Hello, I'm Sarah Thornton, a solicitor from Holmfirth in West Yorkshire.
Welcome back, all of you, and the very best of luck. The first round starts with you today, Tim Hall. In March 2024, which sportswoman, Britain's most successful female Olympic athlete, announced her retirement from cycling to spend more time at home with her family?
Kenny.
Can you expand that?
Lady Kenny.
I will give it to you. It's actually Dame Laura Kenny, yes, winner of 5 Olympic gold medals. Which writer's influential articles and essays dating from the 1940s include the titles Why I Write, Shooting an Elephant, and The Decline of the English Murder?
George Orwell.
Yes. Located a few minutes' walk from the southern end of London Bridge, the inn from which the pilgrims began their journey in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales went by what name?
The Tabard.
The Tabard in Southwark. After it burned down in the Great Fire, the inn was rebuilt and renamed the Talbot for some reason, and its exact site is still called Talbot Yard. What is the scientific term derived from the Greek for virgin creation for the spontaneous development of an embryo from an unfertilized egg cell?
Parthenogenesis.
That's the one, yep. What's the name of the shield volcano on Mars that's considered the tallest mountain in the solar system? So large, indeed, that its summit is over the horizon from its base.
Olympus Mons.
Olympus Mons, 5 in a row, and a bonus mark for you. Very healthy start by Tim Hall. Alan Eeles, your turn. On Radio 4, which writer and comedian regularly stands up for the classics to explore historical and mythological figures from ancient Greece and Rome?
Natalie Haynes.
Natalie Haynes is right. In October 2024, the UK announced an agreement to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to which country in the Indian Ocean?
Vanuatu.
No. Tim Hall?
Mauritius.
Mauritius, with the intention of bringing to an end decades of dispute and negotiation over Britain's last African colony. Caroline Latham, auction, duplicate, and rubber are variations of which card game?
Bridge.
Yes. In 2023, the English version of which book by Georgi Gospodinov became the first Bulgarian language novel to both be nominated for and win the International Booker Prize?
Something like The Life Shelter.
Anybody else know? Maybe not. You were nearly there. It was Time Shelter. Sarah Thornton, broadcast on BBC Children's Television from the mid-1970s and throughout the 80s, the science and technology programs Think of a Number, Think Again, Think Backwards, and Think This Way were presented by which television personality and popularizer of mathematics?
Johnny Ball.
Yes, Play School was many young viewers' first introduction to Johnny's irrepressible style. He is, of course, the father of Zoe Ball. On a bottle of champagne, where would you find the muselet?
Is it the cage that goes around the cork?
It's the wire cage that fits around the cork, exactly. Yes, well done. The first ever Olympic gold medal in which event was won by Army of Japan in 2024?
Breakdancing?
Yes, she took all 3 rounds of the final with a series of dynamic breakdancing sequences against Lithuania's Nika, the reigning world champion. By what name do we call the distinctively flavoured small fruit known in various other parts of the world as the lilikoi, the marquesa, and the maracuya?
Quince?
No. Tim Hall?
Ugly fruit.
No. Caroline Latham?
Kumquat.
No. These are all good guesses, but not the right ones. Alan Eeles?
Passion fruit.
Passion fruit, right. Well done, yes. Passiflora edulis. Botanically, it's actually a berry rather than a fruit. And that's the end of the first round. Everyone's scored. Caroline has 1, Alan Eeles 2, Sarah Thornton 3, Tim Hall 7. Back to you, Tim, and your next question features the voice of a guest on the Radio 4 arts programme Front Row. You'll hear a poet reading his own work. Can you tell me his name?
People will always need people. To have friendly fights with and share tasty bites with, it's useful to have other people. People live in families, gangs, posses and packs. It seems we need company before we relax. So stop making enemies and let's face the facts. People will always need people, oh yeah. People will always need people, oh yeah.
Benjamin Zephaniah.
Yes, People Need People was read by the poet, performer and political activist who died so suddenly in 2023 at the age of 65. Who was the oldest player in any of the squads for the Euro 2024 football tournament?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
No. No other guesses forthcoming? No, I think not. It was Pepe of Portugal at 41 years, 3 months at the time. His teammate, Cristiano Ronaldo, clocked in at 39 years, 4 months, a little bit behind. Alan Eeles, what's the title of American journalist Hunter S. Thompson's first book, released in the mid-60s, inspired by his infiltration of a motorcycle gang?
Hell's Angels.
Yes. What term for a tattered and unkempt person is derived from the name of a demon in the 14th century poem Piers Plowman?
Ragamuffin.
Ragamuffins, right, yes. Who created the role of Eva Peron in the original London production of the Andrew Lloyd Webber Tim Rice show Evita in 1978?
Elaine Page.
Elaine Page, yes. Julie Covington played Evita on the concept album whose release predated the stage show. Sinhala is an Indo-Aryan language primarily spoken by the Sinhalese people of which island country in South Asia?
Sri Lanka.
Yes. Which American boxing champion was nicknamed the Galveston Giant?
Leon Spinks.
No. Tim Hall?
Jack Johnson.
It was Jack Johnson, the first black American heavyweight champion between the years 1908 and 1915. He was born in Galveston, Texas, but was actually only 6 feet and half an inch tall, by no means an intimidating size in today's fight game. Caroline Latham, a recent excavation of a banqueting hall at Pompeii uncovered several previously hidden artworks, including a fresco depicting a priestess spurning the advances of the god Apollo, who then cursed her so that her prophecies were never again believed. Who was the priestess?
Cassandra.
It was. The tone poems Tod und Verklärung by Richard Strauss and Verklärte Nacht by Arnold Schönberg both have titles referring to which New Testament event commemorated by a feast day on August the 6th?
The Annunciation.
No. Sarah Thornton?
The Assumption?
No. No more? No. It was the transfiguration of Jesus Christ, when Jesus led 3 of his apostles up a mountain, whereby he shone like the sun, revealing him to be the Son of God. Sarah Thornton, Arequipa is the second most populated city in which South American country?
Peru.
Yes. The Tyne Bridge is home to the furthest inland breeding colony of more than 1,200 pairs of which members of the gull family, whose name is said to be an imitation of their cry?
Kittiwake.
Yes, the bridge is currently undergoing restoration, and the safeguarding of the birds' nesting sites is proving a major factor in the planning of the works involved. First published in 1995, Marion Keyes' debut novel has which fruit as its one-word title?
Lemons.
No. Yes, Alan Eeles?
Olive.
No. Plenty more fruits left. Caroline Latham?
Plums.
No. Tim Hall?
Let's try pineapples.
No. Nearer in size. Watermelon is the answer. And that's the end of the second round. Here are the scores. Caroline Latham 2, Sarah Thornton 5, Alan Eeles 6, Tim Hall 9. Let's give our semi-finalists a breather now, as we always do at roughly this stage in the quiz. I have a pair of questions here from Brain of Britain listener who'll win a prize if our brains can't answer them satisfactorily, having combined their formidable knowledge. Joe Gregg emailed us from Bridgnorth in Shropshire and said some very nice things about the programme. On this occasion, your flattery has worked, Joe, and we liked your questions too. So let's see what the brains make of them. Here's Joe's first question. The singer Sixto Rodriguez, who died in 2023, struggled to sell records in his home country of America. Unbeknownst to him, however, he achieved massive success in another country, where it was said he'd sold more music than Elvis Presley or the Beatles. Which country was this?
Is this South Africa? Was it the film Searching for Sugar?
Oh, Sugar Beet, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I could be wrong, but...
No, that's good, yes, good, right, yeah.
We'll try South Africa.
You try right. Yes, it is. Well done. And Joe's second question follows on from that, and I gather from something you said, you may know the answer to this too. A 2012 documentary by the Swedish filmmaker Malik Benjelloul about Rodriguez and the discovery of his extraordinary success in South Africa won a BAFTA and Academy Award for Best Documentary. Its title made reference to one of his most popular songs. What was that documentary called?
I'm sure I've heard this quite recently.
Yes.
Searching for Sugar Man.
Searching for Sugar Man, yes, and I can recommend it. We recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's a remarkable and unusual story. So, thank you, Joe. Our brains knew all about Rodriguez, and I'm sorry that we can't reward you with a prize this time, but we enjoyed your questions. No one goes away unrewarded because, from our audience here at the Radio Theatre, you receive this positively saccharine round of applause. Relaxation over then. Let's get this semi-final decided with the scores as they stood. We'll resume the contest with your next question, Tim Hall. The three wars between Carthage and Rome, which took place over nearly a century, beginning in 264 BC and ending in Roman victory with the destruction of Carthage in 146 BC, are usually known by what collective name?
The Punic Wars.
Punic Wars is right. How is the Wall Street investment banker Patrick Bateman referred to in the title of a controversial novel published in 1991?
American Psycho.
By Bret Easton Ellis, correct. Which major Dutch painter lived for a time on both Hackford Road, London SW9, and Twickenham Road, Isleworth? Out of time, Alan Eeles?
Vincent van Gogh.
It was indeed Vincent van Gogh. Hard to visualize, but true. And it's your turn. Here's music from a special edition of Radio 3's Choral Evensong from October 2024. The concert at St Jude's in Hampstead marked the 100th anniversary of the BBC Singers. Here they joined with the BBC Concert Orchestra to perform part of Collegium Regale, a collection of choral settings of the canticles for the Anglican services of Matins, Holy Communion and Evening Prayer. Can you name the work's British composer?
Herbert Howells.
Herbert Howells is right. Which was the first US state to grant women the vote, doing so in 1869, a good 50 years before the rest of the country, and giving rise to its nickname of the Equality State?
Maryland.
No, Tim Hall?
Wyoming.
It was Wyoming, yes. Caroline Latham, the movement of water molecules through a cell's partially permeable membrane is known as what?
Osmosis.
It is. In 1887, the Liverpool solicitor William Henry Quilliam changed his name to Abdullah Quilliam and later founded England's first what?
Mosque.
Yes. Hatfield House in Hertfordshire is home to a famous and symbolic portrait of Elizabeth I that was commissioned by Robert Cecil. The painting takes its name from which object that the Queen is holding in her right hand?
Fan.
No. Yes, Sarah Thornton?
Orb.
No. Tim Hall?
Pomegranate.
No. No, it's hard to call it, what else can you call it but an object, but it's a rainbow. It's called the Rainbow Portrait. The rainbow bears the motto, non sine sol iris, no rainbow without the sun. Sarah Thornton's turn. Which Brazilian musician who died in September 2024 was the leader of the bossa nova band Brazil 66, with whom he recorded his signature hit, Mas Que Nada?
No, it's gone.
It's gone, right. Tim Hall?
Sergio Mendes.
Yes, 60 years after his appearance on the scene, he was still performing sell-out concerts such as that at the London Jazz Festival in 2023. The scores now look like this. Caroline Latham 4, Sarah Thornton 5, Alan Eeles 8, Tim Hall 13. We start here with a quote for you, Tim Hall. Someone must have been telling lies about Joseph Kay, for without having done anything wrong, he was arrested one fine morning. This is the opening of which famous novel, first published in German in 1925?
The Trial.
The Trial, Der Prozess by Franz Kafka, yes. In the men's doubles tennis competition at the 2024 Paris Olympics, the pairing of Rafa Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz quickly gained the portmanteau nickname Nadal-Caraz. What nickname was coined for the British pair of Andy Murray and Dan Evans?
Dandy.
Yes, I don't know if you made that up, but it's the right answer, dandy. Both pairs fell short of a medal, losing at the quarter-final stage. When John Wyndham's classic 1957 science fiction novel, The Midwich Cuckoos, was filmed in the 1960s, under what title did it appear?
Children of the Damned.
No. Caroline Latham?
Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned. They have to be strict about that. Yes, directed by Wolf Riller. We move to you, Alan Eeles. In the human body, the clavicle is better known as what?
Collarbone.
It is. The basis for the rechargeable batteries that power devices from mobile phones to electric vehicles. What is the lightest solid chemical element?
Lithium.
Lithium, yes. The Federal National Mortgage Association and the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation are two enterprises that may not have meant much to anyone living outside the USA until 2008, when they made worldwide news for the key role they played in the financial crisis. By what name are these organizations more commonly known among Americans? out of time. Sarah Thornton?
Is it Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac?
Exactly that, yes. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Caroline Latham, it's your turn now. In May 2024, the music world bade farewell to an Australian singing star who achieved 4 UK #1 hits in the 1960s. Here's one of them, after which I'd like you to name him.
I got a feeling called a blue, Lord, since my baby said goodbye. And I don't know what I'll do. All I do is sit and cry. Oh, Lord, that last long day she said goodbye. Lordy, when I thought I'm gonna cry.
Frank Ifield.
Yes, famous for the yodel of his that you just heard. You heard Lovesick Blues, originally recorded by Hank Williams and his Drifting Cowboys. Westminster Abbey was first built by Edward the Confessor, the last Anglo-Saxon king, but much of what we see today is the result of rebuilding in the 13th century, in the reign of which other king?
Edward III.
No. Tim Hall?
Henry III.
Henry III, yes. The rebuilding took about 25 years, but it still wasn't finished at the time of Henry's death, and the abbey has been added to and reshaped many times over many centuries. Sarah Thornton, the city of Petra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and major tourist attraction in Jordan, was the capital of the kingdom of which nomadic Arab people in the 2nd century BC?
The Bedouin?
No. Tim Hall?
The Nabateans.
The Nabateans is the correct answer. And here are the scores at the end of that round. Caroline Latham 6, Sarah Thornton 6, Alan Eeles 10, Tim Hall 17. And I warn you all, this is now the final round. Tim, which traditional Sicilian pasta dish, consisting of tomatoes, aubergines, and salted ricotta, is said to be named after the title character of an opera by Bellini?
Pasta alla Norma.
That's right. The novel Carmilla, published in 1872, is an early example of the vampire genre of fiction, written by which Dublin-born author?
Bram Stoker.
No. Anybody know that? No sign of an offer, no? It was Sheridan Le Fanu, coming a quarter of a century before the Dublin-born author Bram Stoker's Dracula, surely the best known of them all. Alan Eeles now. Joe Cocker's version of With a Little Help from My Friends was the theme music to which American coming-of-age television series, first broadcast in 1988 with narration by Daniel Stern.
The Wonder Years?
Yes, you're right. On a French wine label, what 3-letter word, typically preceded by premier or grand, is used as an indication of its origin in a superior vineyard?
DOC?
No. Sarah Thornton?
Cru.
Cru, exactly. C-R-U. Caroline Latham. Which brand of linguistics is the study of meanings in a language?
Semantics.
Yes. A prominent section of the London 2012 Olympic Games opening ceremony was created by South London-born Akram Khan, a man who 7 years prior to that had been awarded an MBE for services to which specific field of the arts?
Dance.
Dance is right. He's an acclaimed choreographer. Quote, "We return to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old dispensation, with an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death," are the closing lines of which T.S. Eliot poem, often used as a reading at Christmas time?
The Journey of the Magi.
Well done. That's the right answer. The name of which form of yoga is a Sanskrit term meaning 8 limbs?
I have no idea.
Okay. Sarah Thornton knows?
Ashtanga?
Ashtanga, yep, the right answer. And we come to you. Music for you, indeed, Sarah, from the BBC archives. Here's a memorable performance from 2007 by Amy Winehouse for Radio 1's Live Lounge sessions. After you've heard her cover of Valerie, I'd like you to tell me which British indie rock band originally recorded this song.
Since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like the dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
The Zootons.
Yes. Bandit and Chili are the parents of the title character of which acclaimed children's animated TV series that's been referred to as a Bible for modern parenting.
Bluey.
Bluey, a 6-year-old dog, yes. The Australian show has become something of a cultural phenomenon. Which popular hymn, nowadays closely connected with football, is most often sung to the melody Eventide?
Abide With Me.
Yes. Abide With Me's long association with the FA Cup final began in 1927, when it took the place in the pre-match programme previously reserved for Alexander's Ragtime Band. Amazingly enough. Since 2008, which actor has played the lead in 9 Radio 4 dramatisations of Ian Fleming's James Bond novels, having previously been the youngest man ever to play the principal villain in a Bond film?
Robert Carlyle.
No. Yes, Tim Hall.
It might be the wrong one. Rufus Sewell.
No. Worth a guess, though. Alan Eeles?
Andrew Scott.
No. No more forthcoming. No. It's Toby Stevens, the younger son of the venerable actors Robert Stevens and Maggie Smith. At the age of 33 in the 2002 James Bond film Die Another Day, Stevens played the villain Gustav Graves. And with that, we reach the end of this 4th and last semi-final of 2024. With these scores: Caroline Latham, 9 points. Sarah Thornton and Alan Eeles, 11 points. Tim Hall, 18. Very well done, Tim Hall, who'll be back next week for the Brain of Britain final, alongside Alan Gibbs, Anthony Fish, and Andrew Fanco. Thanks and commiserations to the other 3 of you. It was a close contest, very high scoring, and there's no shame in losing at this stage when you're all such accomplished quizzers. Do come back and see us again. So, only the final contest stands between the champion and the trophy. It promises to be nail-biting. Please don't miss it. From us all here, until then, goodbye.